on the game? PlayStation game, what we always call? Heads or tail on the PlayStation game. All right, then. You should have told him tail. I thought you told him. No, I told you. I thought you knew the special team always coach. They don't play the PlayStation like us.
Don't miss a moment of heart-stopping NFL coverage on Armchair Quarterback Radio.
Riggins. He's going to go all the way unless Blackwood can catch him, and he can't.
3rd and 3. We'll see a pickup sometime on the right side, possibly.
Montana looking, throwing in the end zone. Dwight Clark.
Only 12 seconds left to play third quarter. Here's Marcus Allen cutting back upfield, and Marcus Allen could be gone. 74 yards for Marcus Allen.
The quiet man of this football team, Scott Norwood. He can fire the shot heard round the world now. Here we go with 8 seconds to play. High drama here in the Super Bowl. But in the air, it's got the distance.
Armchair.
This helpful instructional message from the National Association of People Who Have Trouble Walking and Chewing Gum at the same time. Step, chew. Step, chew. Step, chew. Step, chew.
Let's face it, where you're betting is just as important as who you're betting on. That's why I go to mybookie.ag. It's fast, it's easy, and they pay you when you win. Look, I wouldn't be telling you to bet mybookie.ag if they weren't the best. Do the smart thing. If you're going to bet this football season, bet with mybookie.ag. Promo code SKIN, that's SKIN. When you use that promo code, mybookie will match 100% of your deposit up to $1,000. That's mybookie.ag. Promo code SKIN.
Hey there, pal. First draft.
What can you tell?
Look, there's a few things you're going to want to know. Kickers go fast. You're going to take one early. Don't worry about running backs. You can always trade for one later.
Cool, thanks.
One more thing. It's good to have you here. You're my friend.
Armchair. We are the Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast.
Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay.
The last segment of the Armchair Quarterbacks radio show, we're talking baseball. We'll be talking fantasy baseball, pickups, trades, who's hot, who's not, sleepers and busts. And with that, we'll also be talking real baseball, how these players perform and what it means to their teams and what to look for. That's the Armchair Quarterbacks talking baseball. The last segment of the Armchair Quarterbacks radio show.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and flat out deceived.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
Make sure to listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks. Good enough for us down here in the bayou. Go Tigers and the Armchair Quarterbacks.
It's morning.
Yes, and what a lovely morning. Good morning.
Good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The funniest news reports. And this one just came on.
Now, this just in, police officers in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, were asking people to be on the lookout for a man who robbed a store. And I think we do have his description. Can we take that? Let's take his description. Okay. This is the guy that
wait a minute, hold on,
Pennsylvania to be out on the lookout for. He's got a nose and some hair that goes like that. He's wearing a hat at the time of this particular crime. So you can look for yourself. Oh, and now I'm getting word that police actually caught this guy. Thanks to the sketch, no doubt.
Armchair.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on CBS Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good morning, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. The Pittsburgh Pirates will send third baseman Brian Hayes to the 10-day IL, according to manager Derek Sheldon. Sheldon said the X-rays performed on Hayes' left wrist after Saturday's 5-3 loss to the Cubs came back negative. However, an MRI showed some inflammation on the wrist, which was injured on a swing in the first inning. It's an unfortunate break for Hayes, who figures to be a front runner for the National League MVP award. Hayes began his first full MLB season with a 2-run bomb in the first inning on Thursday's 5-3 win over the Chicago Cubs on opening day. The New York Mets and Washington Nationals are looking to get their opening day going today after protocols of COVID-19 shut down the Nationals-Mets series. They're raring to go and hopefully will pass all protocols this afternoon. The New York Mets will take on the Phillies. 7:05, Jacob deGrom hits the hill versus Matt Moore of Philadelphia. Philadelphia is coming off a 3-game sweep of the Atlanta Braves, flying high, and the Atlanta Braves will head to Washington Nationals Park with Drew Smyly taking on Max Scherzer. That game's at 4:05 Eastern. ESPN has another triple header of baseball scheduled today with the Twins and Tigers, 1:10 Eastern on ESPN, Shoemaker versus Urena. And at 4:10, it's the Kansas City Royals and Danny Duffy ending a 4-game series against the Cleveland Indians and Logan Allen. The third game of the triple header tonight, the Tampa Bay Rays and Michael Wacha travel to Boston, where they'll try to get their first win of the season. They send Nick Pivetta to the mound. The Red Sox were swept by the Orioles over the weekend, and the Orioles take on the Yankees at 6:35 Eastern. The Men's College Basketball National Championship is tonight, 9:20 on CBS. The #1 seeded Baylor Bears take on the #1 seeded Gonzaga Bulldogs. Baylor's coming off of a romp against Houston, while Gonzaga, it took overtime in a miracle shot to send the Bulldogs to the national championship, seeking their first national title ever while being a bridesmaid so many times. And in the National Football League, the Houston Police Department has launched a full investigation concerning Deshaun Watson after a complaint filed against the Texans quarterback on Friday. Watson currently has 21 civil lawsuits alleging sexual assault against him in the Houston area. And that's your Armchair Quarterback Sports Flash. Stay tuned for more of the Armchair Quarterbacks radio show and YouTube Live. Please like, subscribe, and share our show today. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast. The Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for Southern Sports Talk.
Hey, what's happening, Norm? It's a dog-eat-dog world, Sammy, and I'm wearing milk-bone underwear. Afternoon, everybody. Hey, Mr. Peterson, got room for a beer? No, but I am willing to add on. Evening, everybody. What's shaking, Mr. Peterson? What is it? Morning, everyone. Hey! What are you up to, Norm? My ideal weight if I were 11 feet tall. What's shaking, Norm? All 4 cheeks and a couple of chins, Coach. Afternoon, everybody. Hey, Norm, how's the world been treating you? Like a baby treats a diaper.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man.
Hey, howdy, hi, top of the morning to you. Welcome to the Armchair Quarterback Radio Show. I'm Mac McGee sitting alongside Doug. Doug, how the hell are you, sir?
Doing good on this Monday.
You probably couldn't hear me when I first came on. My damn mic was down. I don't know what it is when you come on as an intro at the beginning, the whole damn audio falls apart. But I think we got it back together now. I don't know what the hell's going on there. Doug, just as a reminder, when you come on, man, come on with your mic also. I don't have to turn the damn thing off because I think that messes with the board. Okay. We don't need to hear your smokers cough and scratching your bum and all that stuff early in the morning. All right. How was your weekend, sir?
It was good. Liked it. A lot of interesting things going on, especially in college basketball.
What an incredible game that was. Saturday night, once again, the Baylor-Houston game was terrible. No one cares about that. But that game was incredible. Saturday night, UCLA, heartbroken, losing to Gonzaga. I got to the point where I was starting to pull for UCLA. And it's weird to see myself pulling for UCLA, thinking them as an underdog, because UCLA is the ultimate blue blood of college basketball. But they, an 11 seed, to get first of all, I think if UCLA wins that, I think they beat Baylor. I really do. I think we saw the national championship game Saturday night. I really have the feeling that Gonzaga is going to beat Baylor. I think it'll be a decent game, but I think Gonzaga's offense is going to be too hard for Baylor to keep up with. And I think UCLA was going to beat Baylor. Now, look, I could be wrong. Baylor could bring home the ring. But what say you on tonight's game?
I agree with you. I mean, Gonzaga, if you look at them all season, if they win tonight, arguably, I think they'll probably be the best college basketball team we've seen probably in the generation. If you look statistically, Gonzaga.
Okay, so my only problem is I'm still going to put an asterisk on this championship. I just am. And I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why. Put along the side that they're going to go undefeated if they win, and I'm talking about whoever wins tonight, and put aside the fact that during the regular season, you had no, if any, fans. I don't think they had any up in Washington where Gonzaga was playing. They were on pure shutdown up there, and they didn't play many road games, so they didn't really have to deal with the crowd. But then when you get to the NCAA tournament, one of the things that makes it so difficult to navigate through the NCAA tournament every year is the travel and the fans and dealing with the weird start times, et cetera, et cetera. They didn't have to do that. They went into what's, for all intents and purposes, a bubble, and they just played games, but the crowd's not quite the factor because very, very small crowds that are being let in these arenas. So I won't take away the fact that they won a championship, but I will try, if anyone tries to compare this to the 76 Indiana team that went undefeated, it's a joke. It's laughable. Now they have had to go through more rounds in the tournament because they didn't have field of 64 and 76. But those rounds that Indiana played in, first of all, they weren't playing any cupcakes. Back then, when you played in the tournament, you played the elite of the elite. Back then, only a conference only got one team per conference in. So you were going up against the best teams. You didn't get any kind of cakewalks. But you're not playing against fans, and you're having to deal with travel. So what say you on that? I can be talked out of it, but
well, I was just looking at it as a team. If you look at their 2-point shooting percentage and things like that, statistically, it's the and I guess I should have qualified and say statistically wise, their statistics are the best of any college football or basketball team ever.
I don't argue that. What I'm saying is that not playing anybody with crowds, not having to go on the road during the tournament. Once they got to the tournament, they were in their hotel room. That's the same hotel room they've been in for the last 3-4 weeks. And so there's a factor there where if your first round is being played, we'll just say in Los Angeles, and then your next round is being played in Dallas, Texas, and then your next round you go to Indiana, there's the travel factor, and that does tend to wear on a team. And so that's I'm not going to take away the fact that they won it, because they won a championship with the same rules that every other team if they win. But I'm saying that they keep harshing on, or underlying the fact that they're undefeated. It's not the same kind of season that a normal undefeated team would have faced.
Right. I'm not with Gonzaga. I'm not really looking at undefeated as a mark. Like I said, I was just looking statistically especially how their offense plays and just how efficient as a team they are. And I haven't seen that in a very long time. And that's the only reason I made the claim I made.
They are fun to watch. I will give you that, because they're a team that's kind of been together. This isn't like a bunch of one and dones. And so they run an offense. I said this the other day. Their offense is very entertaining to watch because they never stop. They're always moving. It's the opposite of what I watch all basketball season when I turn Florida State on, and it's just them standing around and dribbling, going, get open. No, you get open. No, you get open. So it's entertaining to that aspect. But as far as comparing them, like I can't even say that they're when people say that they might be one of the best teams of all time, I can't compare them because of the fact that they didn't play on the road during this tournament. And if you're one of the best teams of all time, let's just call a spade a spade. If you're one of the best, you don't need a miracle shot at the end at half court to advance. That's not what the best teams do.
I'll argue, because in 1976 UCLA almost got beaten by Notre Dame, and it was a 2-point shot with 3 seconds left in the tournament. So it has happened to great teams. I'm just making the argument on that. I'm certainly not comparing them to the UCLA of the 70s. I'm just saying that sometimes great teams have to come from adversity in any sport. So
I get that. But what I'm saying is, what if that game was being played with fans? Does that game go down differently? That's my point of the whole thing. I can't put them as an all-timer because of that. So anyways,
fair enough.
Who wins it tonight? Baylor.
No, I can't sit here and say Gonzaga is one of the best and not say Gonzaga is going to win. I think it's going to be a high score. Huh?
Is it going to be a close game, or are they going to blow their doors off?
It's going to be close. I would say it's going to be a 5-point game. High scoring. Probably, I would call it like 100-105. It could potentially be that.
In a college basketball game, that'll never happen. Ever. Forever. I mean, unless you go to like 6 overtimes. Let me see here. I want to pull up the too many devices in the way. I want to pull up what the spread is. I'm curious to see that. Gonzaga 4.5-point favorite, and the over under is 159.5. So you're saying bang the over, because that's calling like an 81-80 kind of game. You're saying that thing's going to jump over by 40 points.
And the reason I'm saying is if Baylor's going to push Gonzaga, they're going to push them from the bench, because that's one reason Baylor's played as well as they played all season. He's getting, what they say on average, he's getting at best he's getting 25 points from his bench. So on average, and especially since the tournament's begun. So I could see the bench pushing the score up. That's why I say what I say.
So you're saying definitely take the over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely take the over.
Because the score they have set there is around 82-77. I think that's about accurate. I would take the under on 200 points all day long. You just don't see that many points scored in college wrestling. And the one thing that people can't forget is that there is a really good defense over there in Baylor. So
I joke about it. Sorry, but Baylor's defense is so small. They play that four guard defense, and I just don't think.
I do think Timmy is going to bang the boards in there and have his way. I do agree with that.
Yeah, I don't see it in that center. There's a Baylor. Sorry, folks, I can't remember his name at the moment. He doesn't scare anybody. I'm sorry. It's against Gonzaga. I don't think he's scaring anybody.
No, probably not. But anyways, let's go ahead and switch gears as we got to dive into the BS that was Friday afternoon. We haven't been on the air since this took place. And my God, let's get into the first quarter. The Atlanta Braves get the All-Star game taken away from them by Major League Baseball for no fault of their own. It's because the woke crowd bullied Manfred into changing venues. And look, I'm not going to bring up the fact that the Georgia voting laws are more stringent than 40 other states in the union. And I'm not going to bring up the fact that these laws were put in place because of the ridiculousness that took place in the voting, not just for the national vote for president, which Georgia was heavily involved in, but then when they had the senator runoff, there was some really questionable things going on there too. And I'm not going to bring up the fact that when you talk about needing an ID to vote, that is what they're so bent out of shape about. That you need an ID to pick up a pair of tickets at a Major League Baseball park.
Yeah.
At will call. So the next time I go to pick up tickets at a ballpark, I'm going to say, I don't need an ID. Major League Baseball tells me so. And if I can guess the name, I'll just get the tickets. And I'm not going to bring up the fact that when Delta came out against it, you need an ID to get on their airplanes. Same thing as American Airlines. You need an ID to get on their airplanes. But they've got a problem with asking for a legal ID to vote. And I'm not going to bring up the fact that Coca-Cola, who has jumped on this same bandwagon, which I will never buy again, they demand that you have an ID to enter their facility at the Coca-Cola bottling plant, no matter who you are. I'm not going to bring up any of that. Coca-Cola can go straight to hell, by the way. When they did the thing a couple of months ago where they got busted having an employee video talking about don't be so white. I mean, what the hell was that? Okay. I haven't drank Coca-Cola since. My wife accidentally brought it home the other day and I told her, I was like, just get it out of my house. I don't care where it goes, but I'm not drinking that. She goes, oh, I forgot. I was like, I don't know how you forgot because I've drank nothing but RC products since, because Pepsi's all in the wokeness and we won't get into all that, but Pepsi has given a lot of money to a lot of organizations that are nothing but bad for this country, and we'll just leave it at that. But what I will bring up here now is that what the hell did the Atlanta Braves and And the people of Atlanta, due to Major League Baseball, to cost them, it looks like it's going to be $100 million losing that event. And Major League Baseball can cram it when they say, we're still going to acknowledge Hank Aaron and his great career wherever they decide to stick this thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same. It is not the same. The people of Atlanta are not there. It's not the same. Hank Aaron is a legend and an icon in that state, in that city. And you're going to go put it in wherever you put. Let's say they put it in Los Angeles. You can bet your bottom dollar it's going to be a blue state. But let's say they're going to put it in Los Angeles. It's not the same. And so I will tell you this, that unless something drastically changes and they put it back in Atlanta for some strange reason, which I don't foresee that happening, Armchair Quarterbacks will not be covering the All-Star game. We won't be talking about it. We won't be the week of it. We'll probably take a break because usually when that All-Star game comes around, I haven't looked at the whole sports schedule, so I could be wrong on this. But usually when the All-Star game comes around, there's nothing else to talk about because it's the only sport left now. With the playoffs being pushed back for all the different sports, we may not go that route. But I know for a fact I'm not going to be talking about the home run derby, the All-Star game. The game doesn't even matter anymore because you don't have to win it to secure home field advantage for the American League or National League. So I, for one, will not be watching the damn thing. It was the only All-Star game that I watched anymore. It's the only one that was worth a damn. And we won't be covering it because I am not going to give any, even if I don't want to bring one eyeball to the set to a game that should be rightfully played in Atlanta. All right, Doug, what say you? I know I said a lot there.
Unfortunately, this trend with wokeness and with products and corporations and this political mentality, it's not going to stop here, folks. This is just the first shot. You'll probably see it. I'm sure something will come up with the NFL. But yeah, this is egregious. This is beyond the pale. I mean, I've tolerated it, and I can't take this anymore. This is beyond egregious. This to me,
Let me ask you this: how come I haven't heard one peep from ESPN about not covering the Masters? It's being played in the state of Georgia. I mean, if you ever want to draw a correlation to racism, it's called the Masters, for Christ's sake. Okay. I've said for years, I can't believe that name is still being used. Now, I know the story that it's supposed to be the Masters of Golf, whatever. There's a connotation that when you use that term of what it means, especially when you're talking about in the Deep South, a tournament that came about 50 years after the Civil War, right? Mm-hmm. But you know why you're not hearing a damn thing from ESPN about it? Because they've got money involved in it. See, when ESPN started this crap the other day, and I think I was one of the first ones to even bring it up, the fact that they tried to railroad Manfred into answering the question about the All-Star game in Atlanta. This was on opening day on one of their ESPN pregame shows. It was called Ravitch's, woke. He's such a joke nowadays. He used to be respected, and now he's such a joke. But anyways, so ESPN is the one that basically fanned these flames. Well, they did not, or have not even one time brought up the question mark about the Masters. And you know why? Because ESPN doesn't own the rights to the All-Star game, so they don't give a crap what the ratings are. So they're there to burn the whole damn thing down. But ESPN covers the first two rounds of the Masters.
Mm-hmm.
So you won't hear a damn thing about it. They might do it once it gets rolling, just because they know it's going to be too late to change anything. But you haven't heard one thing about the Masters.
Nope. And it's interesting that you use the Masters as an example because
Tiger Woods isn't even playing in it.
Yeah. Is a reporter for the New York Times wrote an article about time that baseball got involved. And I quote, he goes, well, the reason that Major League Baseball isn't, proactive and things like this is, that the majority of Major League Baseball players are white. And I read that. And then now you said about the Masters, double the hypocrisy then. The fact that somebody would bring it up that Major League Baseball players are the majority are white, which I don't think is even true. I always thought baseball was, as far as talent, it was kind of 50-50 or 50-40, and then on top of it having players from Spanish-speaking players. So this idea that Major League Baseball should have done this sooner and wasn't doing it because the players are white, to me is beyond the pale. And that's becoming a bigger and bigger. Why did Major League Baseball do this with the last All-Star game? Or, why didn't, and it just gets uglier and uglier every day. Now there's an article this morning saying that the Braves might be the Braves might have racist tendencies. I'm like, where do you go? That's what I'm saying. When you start something like this
from, like the New York Times or Washington Post or something.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
And it just feeds into it, and it's just ridiculous.
Let me tell you something. Newsflash: the New York Times, Washington Post are the most left-wing newspapers in the entire country. So if you're reading the New York Times, you're not getting the full picture of anything. Same thing with the Washington Post. And my God, anyone that reads the Atlantic ought to just give up. It is just full trash. I was trying to look to see if there were any sites in the future in the NFL or in the men's college basketball, because all the other sports are done, home and home being played. But the NFL doesn't have a Super Bowl site in Georgia named in the near future. Neither does the men's Final Four. So I was curious to see if there was anything else. But anyways, the point is, you're not hearing a peep about the Masters because it means money out of the pocket of Disney. Disney didn't even give a crap, and they were really ready to burn it down when it's Fox. So if people don't see that game that's being played, and it wouldn't shock me if they did this to try to draw eyes away from, first of all and foremost, if people didn't see it, the Atlanta Braves organization has came out against it. And they have said that they did not believe in the decision, nor did they support it. I was trying to find the quote, but I can't see it right now. But anyways, so the Braves, and good for them, because they're looking at this, and that's what things like that. The New York Times is such a joke. They don't think about the big picture. You're going to take $100 million out of the area for that weekend in a city that, by the way, has one of the biggest minority communities in the country and a lot of minority-owned businesses. But you're going to claim that you're doing something good when you take that money away, because where they play the game, it makes no difference at all. And if they were that hellbound and pissed off about the whole thing, then that would have been the perfect opportunity to put the game in Atlanta and demonstrate your opinions about it, right? You could have done some stupid, like, what was that stupid, goofy thing that they held the rope at the beginning of the game last year, opening day. But you could have put it together some kind of goofy, woke cause kind of celebration on there, right? But instead, you're going to move it to wherever the hell they're going to move it. They're going to slide that under the mat, and they're going to wait a few weeks, right? Because you notice that they made this ridiculous decision public on Friday. It was a Friday news drop.
Yeah.
They this is what these sports do. They will put something that they figure will not be responded to with great favor on a Friday news drop because they figure you got the whole weekend to forget about it.
Right.
So anyways, my response to that is they're not going to take my favorite sport away from me. And I'm very proud to be a Braves fan at this point because they stood up to them. And they didn't just bootlick like LeBron James did with China and say, well, it's fine to treat the people of Hong Kong terrible as long as I'm selling my jerseys over there.
Mm.
I was very, very proud to be a Braves fan. I don't remember when the rebuttal came out. I want to say it was Saturday, but it might have been later on Friday. And for them to stand up and basically say, you're wrong. And if I'm the Atlanta Braves, I vote for anything that anyone wants to move at anything the rest of the time because I'm like, I'm going to get you back, man. You cost our city millions. So I don't think we should have it in New York City because Cuomo's been, creepy crawlers sniffing, women's underwear or whatever the hell he's doing, right? And I don't think we should do it here because of this. And I don't think you should do it here because of that. You can always find a reason to be upset with an area with something that happened in the news. But the simple fact of the matter is when you look at that voting bill, which, by the way, this whole thing was started by the NBA back in 2017 when they would not bring the NBA All-Star game to Charlotte because they didn't have transgender bathrooms.
Yeah.
And if people really want to take it back and say, well, thank God football's over. The NFL did not give Arizona a Super Bowl in 1989-ish? Because Arizona was one of the few states in the union at the time that did not recognize Martin Luther King's birthday as a national holiday. Now, that one was pretty messed up. And I don't really remember being upset about that because I was like, you know what, dude, everyone else is giving this a national holiday. What the hell are you doing, Arizona? Yeah. But that one I was for to a degree. I mean, I don't know if you should blackmail people like that, but blackmail cities like that, but that one's a little more understandable. But this voting law still, like I said at the beginning, 40 other states have more stringent voting laws than Georgia. There's a reason why Georgia was targeted to pull the shenanigans they pulled in this last election because they knew how easy their voting can be manipulated.
Yeah.
And the simple fact of the matter is Rob Manfred's on the wrong side of history. And he should have been fired back when he didn't do a damn thing to the Houston Astros. And he should have been fired when he called the World Championship Series, the World Series trophy, a piece of metal. And he should have been fired for a lot of things that he has really not done a good job. The commissioner just doesn't commission a damn thing. Giving 1-year suspensions in the middle of a pandemic shortened season to a couple of coaches, did nothing to deter the cheating that went on with the Houston Astros. So I don't look at this as a Major League Baseball issue. In other words, I'm not blaming the Baltimore Orioles or the Minnesota Twins. I'm blaming Rob Manfred and his terrible commissioner's office. He should be fired. And I think they will fire his ass. This collective bargaining agreement is not going well for him. And I think they should fire him. Fire him before we get to the end of this agreement at the end of the season. Get someone new in there. Rob Manfred is a weasel. That's what it all comes down to. Mm-hmm. And he's grasping at straws. He made this decision after talking to the Players Coalition. They have their own agenda as well. And he's discussing politics with a bunch of guys that are uneducated because they decided to go play baseball. Fair enough, but they decided to go play baseball and it was never educated. They never went to college. They never got degrees, any of these guys in the coalition. And I guarantee you, none of them were in political science. You're going to take their guidance over an issue that's much bigger than them and much bigger than obviously Rob Manfred can wrap his little pea brain around. He has made terrible moves all along the way. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break, reset, because I'm going to get off this because we had a great weekend of baseball, and we're going to talk about that on the other side. We'll be back in a flash on the Armchair Quarterbacks, and Doug's going to tell you who the hell to pick up if your team's like freaking floundering, and you're like, week 1 of fantasy baseball's terrible. I can't take it. We'll be back in a flash here on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Keep it locked in here to CBS Sports Radio and YouTube Live.
We sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
I'm Amy Lawrence, and I'm up late, always, after hours hanging out with you on CBS Sports Radio. Check it out, 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific.
We are the Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast.
Just start fresh someplace else. No job, no family, just walk away. That's my number one fantasy.
Number one fantasy pick, Don.
David Johnson.
David Johnson. Good.
David
That's
Johnson.
good.
Great.
Make sure to join the Armchair Quarterbacks right here. We'll answer all your questions, pickups, trades, you name it. You want to win your league? Then listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks.
It's fantasy football time.
What's happening in sports? Find out when it happens. Get the CBS Sports app free in the Android market and iTunes App Store.
Top Gun Supply stocks a wide range of firearms, so stop on by at Top Gun Supply at 525 State Road 16 in St. Augustine. Top Gun Supply is open 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Top Gun Supply, the friendly gun shop.
It all starts with just one thing. When recycling, rinse out jars and cans, and avoid recycling wax paper or paper soiled with food. This will reduce recycling contamination. Find tips and more at onethingus.com. What's your one thing?
Go, Red Sox.
The last segment of the Armchair Quarterbacks app, radio show, and Facebook Live. We're talking baseball. We'll be talking pickups, trades, who's hot, who's not, sleepers and busts. And with that, we'll also be talking how these players perform and what it means to their teams and what to look for. That's the Armchair Quarterbacks radio show, talking baseball.
Go, Red Sox.
And it's time to jump into DraftKings. Go to DraftKings today at DraftKings.com. Golf, NASCAR, soccer, you name it. And of course, Major League Baseball, basketball, hockey, and football. Go to DraftKings.com. Listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks for DFS advice all year round.
This year, choose a yogurt that's right for you. With 2 grams of sugar per 5.3 ounce serving. Too Good Greek yogurt is too good to be true. So Delicious dairy-free yogurt and Silk yogurt alternatives are delicious plant-based swaps you can enjoy by the spoon or add to recipes. Oikos 000 yogurt and Light and Fit yogurt are tasty, non-fat yogurt options. So many flavors, varieties, and possibilities. Elevate any recipe and your everyday with yogurt. Shop at Target.
Welcome back here to CBS Sports Radio, YouTube Live. Armchair Quarterbacks are taking to the top of the hour, doing a shorter show than normal. Long story short, I brought Doug on today early. Justin got stuck in the airport is the short of it. He'll be back tomorrow if everything goes well. but he was supposed to be here today and got stuck in the airport. I texted him this morning. I said, "Get your ass back, man. The Braves need a win." It's cruising around out there. If y'all missed it, by the way, the Braves Nationals game has been postponed. Major League Baseball says the game is the Nationals' first game is going to be tomorrow. We'll see, because they just tend to keep pushing the goalposts back farther on these protocols. I understood last year, but man, this thing's pretty much defeated at this point. And for them to shut down the entire teams for now, they're supposed to play Thursday. Now they're not going to play till Tuesday. It's a little much. I don't believe they have plans on making it a double header tomorrow. I believe they're just going to say we're going to play the one game. Braves and Nationals play each other 19 games in a season, so they can figure out the doubleheader down the road. Most likely that they're going to want to set the doubleheader back down the road, because at that point, hoping there's fans in the stands. I don't believe Washington has fans in the stands yet. So the Braves are supposed to play tomorrow against the Nationals. It will be, I believe, Smiley will still take the mound for the Braves, and we're still waiting for Max Scherzer to take the mound for the Nationals. Now tonight, the Phillies play the Mets, and we'll finally get to see Jacob deGrom. Thank God, because my fantasy team could use it. And he'll go up. I got to double check that now. Now that I'm sitting here thinking about that, I'm not 100% sure, because they were up in the air on the Philly Mets pitching rotation. The Phillies are going to go to the mound with Matt Moore. So put all your money on the Mets, even with them being rusty. Matt Moore, I can't believe he's got a starting rotation. Look, the Phillies pitching was phenomenal this weekend. They shut down the Braves. The Braves looked ice cold. And also, I have never seen a series where a team, I'm talking about an entire series, not a game, a series, where the Phillies got more bloops and busted bats and dribblers to fall in for them, and the Braves were hitting scorchers and right at somebody. I mean, they were hitting so many atom balls, it was ridiculous. The rally that they had going on yesterday, where Ian Anderson led off with the double, and then Acuna comes up and hits a rocket, and it's right into the glove of a second baseman. That kind of stuff, and he doubles off Anderson at second. That kind of stuff went on all weekend. Look, you live with it. This is baseball. This is one of the reasons why you play 162 games. And people wonder why, you need 162 to figure out who the best is, because things like this happen. Nola looked very good. Zach Wheeler looked phenomenal his first time out, and so did Eflin. Can they put that together for an entire season? Probably not, because Eflin is historically up and down. Wheeler is a very good pitcher, but he's not Cy Young like he was on was it Saturday that he pitched. Mm-hmm. Nola is a very good pitcher, but now here comes the problem with the Phillies. Matt Moore is your fourth starter. I didn't even know Matt Moore was even a freaking a starter in Major League Baseball until the end of spring training, when I saw him in Philly. What the hell? I thought this guy at best was like in the back of someone's bullpen. Mm-hmm. It's been a decade since he's been relevant. Matt Moore, for people who don't remember, he's the lefty that used to pitch for the Giants. Of course, he bounced around other places, but back in the Giants' heyday, Matt Moore was on there. But Doug, Mr. Sean is chiming in this morning. And first of all, he says you are a punk biatch for not showing up on Wednesday to talk smack. Nah, he didn't say that.
We were about to get that close.
But I'm saying it. You talked all this big game, then you couldn't get your butt out of bed to give Sean a hard time on Wednesday. But you made fun of, I mean, for all intents and purposes, I'm going to have to call the guy IKF, Isaiah Kenner Falafel.
Yeah.
Mr. Falafel himself. He's actually looked pretty darn good. He had a hell of a day yesterday. Let me pull up his stats real quick. 3 for 4, 3 RBIs and a home run. And opening day, he was only 1 for 5, but he did score 3 runs and he got a double. So I've got him in our points league in the Dynasty League. And so in 3 starts, because he didn't do anything on Tuesday. Tuesday. On the second day of the season, which is Saturday. He's got 17 points. Pretty darn good for a catcher in our leagues.
Yeah, I have to admit he done pretty well, but it's like he just got done saying 162 games. Let's see what he does this week and the week after and the week after. If he is the real deal, we'll see that. I'm not gonna go one week of work and say, oh, he's the next best thing. We'll see. Who did they play? Who did they play for that 17 points?
Hey, calm down. They played my Royals, man. They played America's darling. Hey, how about the Royals scoring, 25 runs in 16 innings in the first 2 games? Now, they came back down to earth yesterday, but the Royals looking good, man. Offensively, they're looking good. The pitching's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. But the offense is looking good. I have adopted them. They're my 2021. I wouldn't say bandwagon team because I can't sit here and say I'm a fan of theirs and I'm going to live, eat, and breathe and die with every pitch like I do with Atlanta. But I will be watching them all year long and pulling for them. Today, by the way, we've got a slew of games. Almost everyone's in action except for the game that is postponed. And if you missed it, there is going to be a triple header on ESPN. I don't know why. They don't do this normally, but they're doing a triple header today, which I found. It didn't shock me that they were doing a triple header, but it did shock me that the triple header finishes with the tail end. We'll say the 7th inning of the game will be going on when the college basketball championship starts. I would have thought they would have started just a little earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you get the 1:00 game is. Oh, I had it in front of me. Here we go. Twins Tigers. Urena used to play for the Marlins, going up against Shoemaker and the Twins. That should be an entertaining game because Urena, first of all, he can have some Zach Eflin type moments where he just shows up and has a phenomenal game. Now he'll go throughout the entire season. He'll go like 8-14 with the 5 ERA, but he'll have his moments. So the Tigers have a fighting chance in this game because Matt Shoemaker is, I feel like that's forced putting him as a starter. It's one of the reasons why I didn't buy all in with the Twins this year. When Matt Shoemaker is on your starting rotation, they're not going anywhere. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. When Matt Moore is in your starting rotation with the Phillies, they're not going anywhere long term. It's the law of averages. The 4:00 game is America's darling, the Royals, at the Indians, and the Indians have not looked good so far. And then the 7:00 game are the Rays versus the Red Sox. So that's a lot of fun for the people in this area. Fantasy baseball wise, though, if someone's looking for some pitchers to pick up today, where are you going?
Well, it's funny that you say that because I'm one of the pickups for today. I would take Matt Shoemaker. I like that. I like that game. I just like it because I think Detroit is hapless offensively. And I'm not saying Matt Shoemaker is somebody that you keep. I'm just saying it's a one day. If you need the points, go ahead and start him today. Only because of the matchup.
You're going to take Matt Shoemaker. That's your go-to pick.
I'm just look. Also, another thing people might not want.
Carlos Rodon is pitching out in Seattle. Okay. Brett Anderson is going up against the Cubs. Shoemaker's your go-to? He's owned in 6% of leagues.
Well, that's one reason I'm taking him too. But also, I personally always take him in his first start. Every year I've either won a championship or finished 1 or 2. So to me, it's a superstition thing that I'm taking him. Every time I do, whether he does well or not, I do well. So that's why I pick him. I've done it 3 straight years.
If Trevor Rogers is available in your league, that's a good streamer. Miami pitcher going up against St. Louis. He's only owned in 62%. Remember our rule here: we don't tell anyone to pick up anything over 70% or over, right? Like, because you're basically saying, "Oh, you should really pick up Max Scherzer or Jacob deGrom today." Yeah, thanks a lot, jerk off. Yeah. Should have reminded me that during my draft. That's my pick of the day right there is Trevor Rogers. The guy is a strikeout machine. Now, with that being said, he can be up and down, but I like Trevor Rogers today going against St. Louis. St. Louis has been pitching well, but that should be a fun one. I'll tell you someone else. If you're looking for because I've pretty much wasted all my pickups this week as we're in the middle of this long, ridiculous week. I had to fix my team. And I've had some terrible pitching outings at the beginning of the season. So I'm in a rough way, but that's okay. It's week 1. I don't try to win week 1 because it lasts 11 days and I try to set myself up going forward. You're going to get the same amount of wins out of the 11-day stretch as you will a 7-day stretch the following week. So that's my philosophy in week 1. It's nice to start off with a W, but I don't worry about it. He won't pitch until tomorrow, but Drew Smiley should be a fun one because he's only owned in 40% of Yahoo leagues. And he is a guy, you know, the old saying that great hitting is great timing and great pitching is upsetting that timing, right?
Mm-hmm.
He is a soft tosser with a little bit of zip, and he gets a lot of strikeouts. And the Nationals will have not played baseball for about a week by the time they hit the field. Not saying that they won't get the W against Atlanta because Scherzer's going to be on the mound, but I think that's going to be a low-scoring game across the board. So Drew Smiley, I like that one. And then Jordan Montgomery tonight going up against the Orioles. I like that one a lot. You got any other pickups, or you're just going to give us that terrible Matt Shoemaker take?
I might just leave you with that one. I tell you, now I'm going to just leave you with that one as far as pitching goes. I'm just going to leave that because that's pretty much it. Between what you said and Shoemaker, those are your better streamers for the week.
By the way, we're going to start doing. I got sidetracked and forgot about it last week because Justin wasn't here. I normally do it with him. We're bringing back the picks of the day. Skin in the game. The game that I like today on the money line minus 117 is Tampa Bay going up against the Red Sox. They're sending Michael Walker to the mound, but I don't expect him to be in there long. The Red Sox are going to go Pivetta. Their pitching has been terrible. Their offense has been just as bad. And I think Tampa Bay gets that W on the road. So there you go for the pick of the day. And I didn't want to forget that. What about any hitters? Are you liking any hitters?
Oh yeah. Being a Reds fan, I'm telling you all, if you don't have them, pick up Jonathan India. Pick him up.
Sean called it. I told him at the break in the YouTube thing. You really need to get on this thing because it's pretty entertaining watching Brian and Sean go back and forth. But I told him at the break that I was going to bring up IKF to you, and he said, "I bet his pick is India."
Yes, Sean, you are right for once. Yes, Jonathan India. I mean, the team's so excited about him, they're rearranging their entire infield to make sure he plays. Now he does play third, but they're going to have him play second. So, but yeah, that's somebody you want to pick up. I think he can be.
Does he
really
have any
special.
pop? I mean, I honestly have never watched this guy play, but does he have any pop? I mean, I get that he's hitting 455, but we're also only 3 games in the season. He's got no home runs, 1 double and a triple, and has 5 hits.
Yeah, I mean his spring training and what I saw in AAA the year before, consistent play. I think he'll bring you consistent points.
All right, Doug. Well, he's available in the YouTube Snake League, so I expect you to pick him up. I'll expect you to burn one of your pickups on this Jonathan India guy.
Where's my computer? Let me get it done.
Sean said he has mind control over you, that he knew you were going to pick that. Make it Jonathan India.
Go ahead, Sean. Tell me what my next pick is going to be. Go ahead. Tell me.
He says your next pick is going to be picking your nose because you're too scared to jump on Wednesdays. That's what he said.
Now I'm going to take Wednesday off just to hound you. Now I'm going to tell my boss, no, I got to be on here Wednesday.
I can't work Wednesdays till after 9:30 Eastern. You dig? It's never going to happen, my friend. I got to roast Sean.
Well, I guess I'll just be I'll either that or on the phone banging his ear the whole time.
Sure. Sean said you can't even figure out how to get onto YouTube. That's what your problem is. He didn't say that. I'm messing with you.
Well, this time last year you might have been right, but
where's the? Well, I had one pulled up. I don't know what I did with it. So Jonathan India is your go-to guy, huh?
He's one of them. And I'll tell you one other person that in years past people would always draft, but I've noticed in our leagues he hasn't been drafted very high, but he's had a great first week. Probably one of the best first weeks I've ever seen him have is what's his name? Gurriel from I think from Houston. Yanni Gurriel. He's had a fantastic first week. He's looked really well. And I think he's only in about 20-25% of leagues.
I'm always skeptical of that guy because the thing about Gurriel is that he tends to be up and down. And the only thing I'm worried about with any of these Toronto hitters is when George Springer comes back, how many at bats they're all going to get. One guy that's out there that's pretty interesting, he's only rostered in 44% of the leagues, is Aaron Hicks. And he started off pretty good. Look, when Aaron Hicks is playing well, he reminds me of a poor man's Bernie Williams. But just like, look, I got into it with Stefania Bell of ESPN last night on Twitter because she's over there throwing her nonsensical take about Ohtani. Ohtani hits the home run, and then of course he has, lights out speed on his fastball. And it was almost like in a mocking tone. She said, and people say that he can't play both. Da 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 da. And she went straight to the analytics of, he had the hardest hit home run so far this year, blah, 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 blah. First of all, it was a tater. Second of all, my response to her was, yeah, that's all fun and games. This is his first game, by the way, his first start. Starting pitcher is a full-time job. People think you just walk out to the mound. People like Bell who only follow like fantasy football and they think you just walk out there to the mound and throw every 5 days so you can go out and play the outfield. Because that's the big argument. Should he be playing the outfield and then also pitching, or should he just be DHing and not pitching? Or if he is pitching, I say if you're going to do it, you put Ohtani as a DH and you put Ohtani as a reliever. That way he doesn't have as much to deal with. You don't have to prepare on a daily basis as a reliever. You have to look at some notes, but you're not bugging out too bad, because what's going to happen while you're warming up in the pen about to go in, you've got a pitching coach down there talking to you about, okay, there's a good chance you're about to face A, B, and C, and this is what they like and this is what they don't like. Okay. What people don't understand with the starting pitcher in Major League Baseball is when you go to hit the mound for a 5, 6, 7 inning affair, there's preparation the day before for your body. There's preparation the day after. There's also preparation the third day when you do soft toss to stretch your arm out. Okay. Put all that aside. Let's take the physical away. Let's go to the mental part of it. He's got to look at game film and figure out how he's going to pitch these guys. And that's why you don't see it last. And of course, she's spitting all these facts, that she thinks to be true. And I say, he's never pitched more than 51 innings in a Major League Baseball season. Well, he's just coming back off of an injury, and now we're going to see what he's blah, 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 blah. And I didn't have the heart to further it. So I said to hell with it and let it go. But about 5 minutes later, Ohtani got injured at home plate.
Yep.
And I was so close to quoting the tree and said, well, this didn't age well, did it? And he gets pulled from the game. They're trying to say now it wasn't because of injury. Trust me. Ohtani's beginning the season where he always is, and he's going to end up on the IL. And if you go back and look at that replay, and some people say, oh, it's a goofy, weird thing. No, go back and look at that damn replay. You have to watch the game. Go back and look at that replay. Ohtani was not in good position to make that play at the plate. Now, it was a terrible throw, but he was standing on home plate when the throw was made. Man. So even if it's a good throw, there's probably going to be a nasty collision on his legs. And any pitcher is taught to not be standing on the plate. If you can get the out, that's great, but we don't want you injured. He was standing on home plate when the ball was thrown. Then he comes up and when he lands, was it Abreu of the White Sox that slammed into his leg? And I don't think it's a long-term injury, but he's banged up, and this already begins it. And this is my point of Ohtani. He looks phenomenal when he comes out the gate in the first 2 innings. And then he starts getting wrapped around the park. If you make him a reliever, it ends the debate.
Yeah.
He goes in for an inning, lights out, and then goes on about his business. That would make the most sense there is.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways. You could even at that point make him an outfielder. If you want to make him an outfielder and then put him as a reliever, now you really got a dangerous thing going on there, because he could come in and out of the freaking outfield and pitch whenever the hell you needed him late in the ball game. I mean, you don't want too much of a downtime. You don't want him pitching in the 4th and then coming back and pitching in the 7th. That could do some long-term damage on his arm. But once again, NFL fantasy trying to get involved in the world of baseball, trying to be relevant. She's tweeting that. She's tweeting about the SAG Awards. Oh my God. I found it laughable that thing was only televised for an hour on television. I'm sure they televised some of the rest of it on like some other platform, but on television, it was only televised for an hour. Like, that's how you know you get bad ratings, when you're being televised for 1 hour on TNT.
Yep.
Anywho, any more pickups before we go to scooch on out here?
Oh, I'm just going to say, if you got an injury, you need to play. Look for Mark Conhoff from Oakland. I think he's a good fill-in if you need to. You need some points and you've got some injuries at that position. That was one other I was going to throw out there.
I'll throw one more out at you. If you're in deeper leagues, one of the names that's interesting out there is Mad Bum. He didn't pitch that terribly his first time out. He's available in 80% of most leagues, and so he is an interesting one. And with Nick Anderson being injured, that bumps everyone up in the rotation. I believe Diego Castillo is going to be the closer. But if you're looking for holds, Peter Fairbanks is a pretty good pickup as well because he's going to move up in the rankings. It's time to turn back time and get on out of here on a Monday as we look forward to the national title game. Turn back time and walk-offs. Here we go. This is a pretty good one. I remember this like this was yesterday. Oral Hershiser in 1989. So what are we talking about? 32 years ago? Mm-hmm. His consecutive scoreless streak ends at 59 innings. That was such a big deal going into the playoffs. And he had a phenomenal 1988 playoffs. Of course, the Dodgers were defending world champions at this point in 89. They'd shocked the world and beaten the A's. So that was 32 years ago. It's hard to believe that was 32 years ago. Also, on this date in 2005, this shocked me. This stat alone. The Royals became the first team. This is 2005. They've been playing Major League Baseball for over 130 years at this point. The Royals had become the first team since 1901, so we're talking about 104 years of baseball, to overcome a ninth inning deficit of 4 runs or more on opening day. When the rally to beat the White Sox, they win 9-7. Carlos Beltran, by the way, was the Royal, hit a 2-run walk-off homer. But it amazed me that you could go 104 years and not see a 4-run rally in the 9th inning on opening day. 4 runs is not an extraordinary amount of runs. That just dumbfounded me, especially because the pitchers are out of whack in the first game of the season. That absolutely dumbfounded me. Birthdays. I guess I'm the only one who thinks that's a weird stat. I'm like, 4 runs? It took you 104 years for someone to blow a 4-run lead?
Yeah.
Obviously, back in 2005 and before, they didn't have access to the 2020 Phillies bullpen. So, there was that going on. Birthdays. Birthday today. Man, this guy, he is now 56 years old. It's hard for me to believe it's been that long that this guy's been playing Major League Baseball. But Chris Carpenter, happy 56 years. He was the one that passed the torch to Wainwright. I guess Wainwright will be passing the torch to Jack Flaherty. But although he's not a Hall of Famer, Chris Carpenter is a damn good pitcher in his own right. He won the 06 and 2011 World Series, 3-time All-Star winner. He was an 05 Cy Young Award winner. Of course, he had the terrible injury and won the 2009 Comeback Player of the Year. So there you go with that. There's your birthday celebration, and one more. We'll throw one more at you. Ike Hilliard, the ex-Gator and ex-New York Giant. He is 45 years old today. And Tony Banks, remember Tony Banks of the Rams?
Yeah.
He is now 48 years old today.
Wow.
Yeah, it just seems like yesterday.
I know. Ike Hilliard, too.
Steven Jackson, the guy that's got the terrible podcast, the racist podcast, he's 41 today. And so we send him an unhappy birthday. I'm joking. I don't mean ill will on anybody, man. He's a clown. He's a clown. What's your walk-off for the day?
Walk-off tonight's game. Baylor. The bench has to play its best game ever if they're going to win tonight. That's going to be their key.
Sean says his next pick for you for the pickups, he thinks next week you're going to tell people to pick up Chris Sabo. He's on you, man. He's on you. You got to wake up early on Wednesday and give him hell, man.
Sean. Oh, Chris
Sabo. Spud.
Oh, leave me alone, Sean. All right.
I haven't thought of Chris Sabo in quite some time. Old Spuds. They used to call him Spuds because of the goggles. Remember? And that Spuds McKenzie commercial was always on. Spuds McKenzie always had the goggles on. I had a buddy in high school, man, and that was his favorite player by far. He loved the Reds and he loved Chris Sabo. That was his team. I don't know whatever happened to that guy, but my walk-off for the day, obviously, the college basketball championship is tonight. Late start, 9:20 Eastern. What the hell are y'all doing? I mean, come on. At least start the damn game right at 9 if you got to wait till 9. What the hell are y'all doing? But those ratings are going to be terrible, by the way, because they wait so late. And they got two teams that people don't really care that much about. But I'm going to try to stay up and watch it. And before that, there's a lot of baseball on today, y'all. Day games, night games. We talked about the triple header. But you have, what is it? 1, 2, 3. Thought there was more than that. Okay, so 3 day games in Major League Baseball and a slew of night games tonight. And I'm going to be interested to try to check out the Mets Phillies. I want to see DeGrom. I want to see him pitch. Fortunately, we got to wait for tomorrow to see Scherzer pitch. But I want to see DeGrom pitch. I want to see what he can do. And man, my fantasy teams, they're not doing so good the first week. But yeah. I'll figure it out. I always do. It's man, one of my teams just isn't scoring worth a crap. The one, I think it's the one that's playing Sean. They had like 12 points the other day. Like 2 or 3 pitchers pitch.
Oh man,
12 freaking points. I think it was 12 at some point. It was way too deep into the game, into the day for it. This has to be it. Yeah. Domingo Germán -2, Brady Singer minus a point. Carlos Martinez got a point, so they even each other out. And then Shohei Ohtani got 8 points. So, and Matt Barnes actually got in for an inning just to get some work in. So you got a couple of cases. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys go. And I scored a total of 8 points, and my hitters scored a total of freaking 13. Yeah. Got to get better than this.
I expect that from Sean, not you.
And why is a 23, 24-year-old kid like Rafael Devers needing the day off 2 games into the season? What the hell is that about?
That's called being a Boston Red Sox these days.
All right, brother. We'll see you next week. And if you're not scared, maybe we'll hear or see from you on Wednesday.
Oh, you're going to see me now.
John says you're scared. He says you're scared.
Oh, man. What he should be scared of is that basketball team that's going down the drain is what he should be scared of.
He says you're scared. All right. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
See ya.
Justin Waller should be back, and Stephen Church will be with us as well.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go.
Scared.
Back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Bye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. We're here weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Can I get another cigarette, please? Can I get